Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today's lesson is 1.7, subtract multi-digit numbers. Okay, boys and girls, so doing multi-digit subtraction is very similar to the addition. You still have to estimate before you find your difference. So we're going to try to get a more accurate estimate. Instead of rounding all the way to the highest place value, we're going to round to the 10,000 or to the 1,000th place. That'll give us a more accurate number. So I look at that 4, it says leave 16 alone and make all those into zeros. I look at this 8 and it says make that 4 a 5 because it's 5 or more. This becomes 15. So when you subtract, you end up with 1,000. So now we have 1,000 as our estimate. We're ready to really subtract and get a final difference down here. 1, take away 1 is 0. 2 minus 3, you have to regroup. And you learned regrouping in 3rd grade. 12 minus 3 is 9. 3 minus 8, you have to regroup again. 13 minus 8 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is nothing. So our difference 1,590. Our estimate is 1,000. Those are close enough together to call this reasonable. So let's review. Your first step should be to estimate by rounding the numbers, then subtracting the rounded numbers. And your second step is to subtract the original numbers to get the difference. Let's try with something simpler. 593 minus 148. We want to get an estimate first. So we're going to round those numbers. And I'm going to round it to 2 place values over, so I get a very precise number. So I'm looking at this 9. I want to round to the tens place. So I look at 3. 3 says 9 gets to stay the same, so it becomes 590. And I'm looking at the tens place here, and that 8 says that 4 needs to go up to a 5, so it becomes 150. Subtracting those numbers, 9 minus 5 is 4, and 5 minus 1 is 4. I get an estimate of 440. Now I'm ready to do the actual difference. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. It's a little confusing in there. Okay. Now, 3 minus 8 can't happen. So we have to regroup from the tens place. Bring that down. Move it over to here. Gave them a 10, so that becomes 13. 13 minus 8, that works. You get 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. And 5 minus 1 is 4. Now, our actual difference is 445, and our estimate was 440. They are very close, so these are actually going to be reasonable. And that's the purpose of estimating, is to just make sure that the answer that we get, whether it be a difference or a sum, is reasonable when we compare it to an estimate. Estimates are just easier numbers to work with because they have zeros at the end. Okay, last review. Step 1 is to round so that you can get an estimate. Step 2 is to subtract so that you can get a difference. Don't forget to do your questions on Edline after the video. See you tomorrow.